Okay, welcome everyone. So this is going to be the demo using Adobe Photoshop for our emphasis projects. There's going to be four projects that you need to do. One is going to be emphasis on placement, then on contrast, then on isolation, and then on the whole. What we're looking at here is my emphasis on the whole. And I have each of these three elements in a group. So I have the roses, or it's the rose, the hands, or the hand, and the TV. I chose for my three, rose, hand, and TV. Now, for the whole, we have two ways of laying out emphasis on the whole. When you are emphasizing the whole picture plane or the whole design, one of the easiest ways is to create a pattern. And so here I created a pattern. And I have a very neutral background that you can see here now. So I'm going to isolate each one. So here is my TVs. It's really one TV. And if I select it, I can move it around or what have you. But I just went ahead and created a pattern. Remember that if I can choose to view the grid or not view the grid. And the grid does help. So let's see here. Let's go ahead and let me show you how it is that I isolated each of these images using the internet to get my images just for this project. So when you go onto your browser, you're going to go and use Bing as your image search engine. I kind of like Bing better because it does give me it's a better way to view images. I know. Ironically, I do like Google, but this is one of the few Microsoft things that I do like. So let's go ahead and say TV and with white background. So whatever you search for, just make sure you put with white background. And then I'm going to click Images. And then one of the things that you're going to need to click is on the filter. For me, I have it right here. So I'm going to click Filter, Image Size, Extra Large. So you can see up here, this is the image I chose, but you can see up here the different kinds of, the size. Suppose I chose, let's just choose something like, we'll choose maybe this image right here. Let's just choose this image. When you click it, you're going to see that it gives you more options and what have you, but go ahead and click it again. And now you're going to see that there's a magnifying glass and with a plus sign. So click that again. You may and may not. So you can see how very large this image is. And in fact, this image is actually a rendering. So we're going to right click it, save image, and then go ahead and save it in a file. So here's this one image that I have saved here. So you're going to click save, maybe rename it, and then save it. So let's look at my files and let's see what is it that I have already saved in here. I have a few things saved in here. I have the rhino, I have a rose, I have the hand. Suppose let me use the same TV again, just so that I can show you what the process is. So one of the first things we got to do is click File, New, the default Photoshop size, Create. All right. So one of the things we want to do is create File, New, Photoshop Default, Create. So here we have it. We're going to go ahead and open up our File Explorer or our Finder and look for the file where we put some of our images that we downloaded from the web. Here's my TV, and I'm going to click and drag into the Photoshop file. And you're going to notice that, you're going to have an X here right away. If you don't, you may have it just like this, right? Remember that when you have the Move tool up here, I usually click on Auto Select and Show Transformation controls. So I'm going to click this image, and I'm going to, let me just make it smaller. That's good. Move it around. And here it is, right? If I come down to my layers and close the eye for the background, I'm going to see that it's right here. But right now it is a smart layer. You can see that there's a little icon right in here, and what you want to do is rasterize. So I'm going to right click on the layer, and I am going to select rasterize layer. So that's very important. So now my layer has been rasterized. So I have this image. This image I can duplicate many times. I can turn it, twist it, what have you. You can duplicate this image by either two ways. One is right click the image here and say duplicate. Okay. And then when I click it and move it, there it is. And I can duplicate again. Okay. And then there it is. Another way, and if you can find the shortcut for Apple-based computers, but for PC-based computers, look at my cursor, right? It's this little square, it's this little, black triangle. If I click the alternate key, now you can see that it's a black triangle with a white triangle behind it. Now if I keep the alternate key pressed and then left click and drag, I can multiply. It's a really nifty shortcut, because you can just keep going on, and it's great. So I've got some TVs here. Let's bring in some more files. Let me go ahead and click all my TV layers, and I'm going to go ahead down here and group them. And now I'm going to turn off the eye so that I can have a clean area to work with. And I'm going to go ahead and drag a new image. So again, if I go back into my browser, and suppose I want to do, instead of TV, I want to do, I don't know, sunflower instead of a rose. So here I have some sunflowers, extra large, and I'm going to go ahead and select, let me choose one that has, let's see, let us see, this is fine. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and let me open up the image. There it is. I'm going to right click it, save image as, and I'm going to go ahead and name that file. Well, it's kind of named already, right? So let me go ahead. There it is. It's downloading. So now I'm going to open up, and I'm going to click and drag, and there it is. Now I did get lucky with the TV because it actually had the background transparent, but here I might have some white in the background, which is good because I want to show you guys how we can remove this white. To the left side panel, we're going to have the quick select tool, and you have several options. You might have this option. If you and pressed, you can see the three options for it. I'm going to choose the magic wand tool. This tool is great. Here's my magic wand. It's great because it has a tolerance level. The default tolerance is 32. The more, the greater the number, the more it will select colors that are near what you're selecting. But 32 is good. That's the default, and it's basically all white. So when I click, I have selected all of the white. Maybe there might be some areas that is not too perfect, but that's going to be okay for our purposes. And now there's two ways to remove this white. I can either, let me go ahead and click the Move tool. I can either use my eraser tool, and I can try and erase in here, but I can't because this is a smart tool, so I mean a smart image. So you know what? I can't do anything right now. So let me unselect. So I'm going to click Select, Deselect. I'm going to come over here, right-click that layer, rasterize, meaning to flatten it out and make it a bitmap. I'm going to go back to my magic wand, select the white area, and now if I take the eraser tool, my eraser tool is small, right? So you have left and right brackets on your keypad, on your keyboard. So when I click the right bracket, I can increase it, left decreases it. So I'm going to go ahead and increase it, and you can see that when I erase, you know, I can erase like this. Now, the other way to do this is, click the Move tool again. The other way to do this is to simply click the backspace key. There it is. It's all gone. Now I'm going to deselect. And there's my sunflower. I can duplicate this sunflower. Let me make it a little bit smaller. I can duplicate it, and let me go ahead and do that using the shortcut. Hit Enter. Okay. Let me see. There it is. All right. Let me go ahead and grab all of these sunflowers and group them. You know, I can fix it and move it around a little bit. Let's go ahead and take a look at where my TVs are. There are my TVs. And if I take my sunflower group, all right, let me select all of my sunflower groups. And I move the entire, oh, wrong one. It gets kind of hard here, right? One of the things you can do sometimes when it gets hard to move things around is, suppose I want to keep my TVs like this, okay? And every time I select, I don't want to have TVs selected. When I click the group, like here, this is my TV group, you're going to see this lockbox, you know, this locking tool right here. If I click Lock tool, now whenever I click it, it's not going to do anything. I can't move it. If I have it unlocked, then I can move it by accident or touch it by accident. So that's a nice little trick here. So we're going to go ahead and lock that. I'm going to select the flower group, right, and I'm going to go ahead and select the whole thing and then move the whole thing around, and I'm going to go ahead and do this right here. I'm going to put the flowers there. I'm going to make this TV special instead of the other TVs. This is going to be called placement. So not done yet, right? Because now I want to unlock this TV group. I want to select this TV, and I need to find out where it is. There it is, right? Let me go ahead and move these layers up. Now, Photoshop, the layers work like there's an eyeball looking down on your layers. So the lower it is on your layers, the image, the more in the background it is. So every time I move this TV up and up, it starts to move closer to the top of the layer. So we're going to put this on top of the layers, all of them, and there it is. If I move this TV to the bottom of all the layers, it's all the way in the back. So we're going to go ahead and move this TV all the way to the top layer. There it is. So this TV is quite special. It sure is. But maybe I want it to be, you know, right around there. No, let's put it all the way on the top. But it doesn't look very natural. Maybe I want one of these flowers to kind of overlap that TV. So here's this flower. What happens if, or actually let's choose something a bit more subtle, like this flower. And I'm going to move it to the top. There you go. This flower is now on top. I can do something like this. It makes it a little bit more natural, right, everybody? I can do that. And how about this flower? Let's go ahead and move that flower on top of the TV, and maybe I can move it over to the side. That looks nice, right? Okay, everybody. So, I'm working on this, and it's time for me to do a save because it's untitled, and what if something happens and I lose all of this? I will be pretty frustrated, right? So let's go ahead and say save as on my computer. Let's put it right in here, and I'm going to go ahead and save this as my emphasis placement. And then put your last name on there. So, oh, there's already one. Let's see. Okay, let me make it number 2. Okay, there we go. Now I do need an element, a third element. So let's go ahead and let me pull up my file here, and let's see. Maybe I can use the hand. So let's go ahead and use the hand. I'm going to drag that hand in here, and we got to work on this file. So let me go ahead and I'm going to select these images that I did here, and I'm going to go ahead and group them. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and lock all of these because I don't want to mess around with this stuff yet. Oh, but you know what? I did lock and I did group the hand. Let me take that hand, put it out, and let me lock it. So now I can just work on the hand. I don't have to worry about touching any of the other objects. This hand has a lot of stuff on there, so let's go ahead and get our magic tool. Backspace. Oh, I can't. Okay. I keep forgetting. Let me see. Let me right click, rasterize this layer, and now backspace. Great. I can do this down here and backspace, but I still have some stuff down here. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and use the square selection marquee, and I'm just going to go ahead and select right there and hit the backspace, and now I can deselect, and there we go. Now you might see that there's some stuff on here and it's from the images, but that's gonna be okay. That's fine. It's not gonna be that much of a big deal. Just don't worry about it, guys. And I'm gonna go ahead and now duplicate this image and enter. Duplicate, duplicate. And just to reinforce this idea of placement, I'm going to make the hands kind of enter and then click the other one. I'm going to make the hands kind of looking like they're trying to reach out for that one special TV. I don't want to drown out all the other TVs that I have here. Okay, guys, so I moved this hand over here so that we can have some more like you could say psychic lines, if you will, kind of pointing towards this main focal point, which is this TV surrounded by flowers, which creates like a radial layout. So this is going to be an emphasis via placement. I've got all of this in here. There are some things maybe that I can do to make it a bit more dynamic. Perhaps I can select this TV here. What I did so that I can start selecting individual objects is I unlocked all of these. These were locked, right? But you can just unlock them. So I'm going to go ahead and with my move tool click out here, and maybe I'm going to click, let's see, let me click this TV. And I can click and drag with the layer area to the top, and I could say, does that work well? Well, maybe, but it would be nice to have this flower in front of this TV. So I have this TV in front of this hand, but you know what? It's taking away. It's competing. So let me go ahead and undo that. And let me see, what else can I do? Maybe I could do, you see this flower here? Maybe this flower could be above. Let me see, let me move it to the front. But see, now I don't want it to be in front of this TV. So if I open up this group, I can go ahead and put it below that TV. There it is. But now it's in front of these hands. So it's all about looking at the order of things, right? This is this area, you see. And there's no need to be confused. You know, you can always just start looking at all of these and open up all your folders and see the order. The order is always from the top looking down on your layers. So let's go ahead and wrap this up and finish this up here. And we need to think about the background. So let's go all the way down to the bottom here. I'm going to go ahead and collapse all of my groups. And I can go ahead and lock them if I'd like to, just make sure that nothing is moved around. And I'm going to create now, I've got the bottom layer, which is white, but that could be a bit boring. So I'm going to create a new layer right in here, and I'm going to go over here to my gradient tool. Sometimes it may be the bucket tool, but if you keep it pressed and then select the gradient. Now there's many gradient options that you can choose from. I could choose maybe some purples, which might be nice. It might go well, these blue purples. So we can do something like, let's see, let me move down. Maybe something, ooh, these could be, maybe something like this. Maybe something like that. Okay, we're going to select that one. Then we can select how we want that tool to be used. In other words, right now I have it as, you can have it this way where you click and drag and you have that. Control Z to undo. I can do the spiral where I click and drag and I get that. Or this one. The diamond. Horizontal. Or it depends how I drag it too. Right? So I'm going to go ahead and do, actually this looks pretty good. This looks pretty good. If I click the white background, it may enforce it. You know, keep in mind that the opacity is up here. If you select something and it's kind of transparent and you find yourself thinking like, oh, what happened? Why is it too transparent? You know, go ahead and make sure that the opacity is at 100%. So now I'm going to go ahead and re-put back my images. And I think I'm pretty good with that. We're just going to leave that as is right now. So let's see here. Let's see here. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is select all of this whole section here, and I'm going to make it all in one folder. There it is. And I'm going to dupe that folder. I'm going to go ahead and close that eyes, and then this folder right here, which is this section, this whole thing right here, it's a copy, right? Here's the other copy. So I'm going to select this, right click, merge the group, so now it's flat, and then I'm going to go ahead and file, export, save for web, select, you know, JPEG high, that's pretty good, JPEG high, and then you know, go ahead and just click save. You can also shrink down your pixel images if you want it smaller, but that's okay, this will be fine. So you're going to click save, and it's going to be emphasis placement JPEG, and let's go ahead and put it in the right location in here, save, and we're good to go. Alright everybody, so like I said, you know, you can really have fun with this. You can play around and use just 3 non-related images. Alright, and remember, you can always go on the web and seek out any answers or resources that can help you with each of these layouts, to maybe look at more examples of what does emphasis via contrast look like, or what does emphasis via placement look like, or isolation as well. All right, everyone, have fun. Ciao.